I think it would all boil down to transparency and education. Delivering the right information at the right time is essential because not only are you marketing for your company, but you're selling yourself too. They want to know that they're wanting to hire and work with the experts in our industry.
Today I'll be speaking with Kayla Nelson, the marketing director at Service Star Realty based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Kayla has been the marketing director of a company that has grown to over 1,250 doors under management in the Phoenix metro area. And she has a lot of valuable experience because when she joined the company, they were much smaller and she played an instrumental part in their growth. So I brought Kayla on today to share a lot of her wisdom and her knowledge when it comes to marketing a property management company. So without further ado, let's get to Kayla. Hey Kayla, thank you so much for joining me today. To kick things off, can you just tell everybody a little bit about your experience, how you got into property management, and how you ended up being the marketing director of Service Star?
Absolutely, Stephen. Thank you for having me. I wish I could say I have a duplicatable process for everyone listening and joining us. But unfortunately, I feel that I've really just grown into the role through hands-on experience as the company grew. I started with Service Star Realty about 8 years ago. I've been licensed agent for 6 of those years. And when I started, our company had about 500 doors or so under management, and I started as the front desk receptionist. So that was really my first experience with property management, period. Eventually, one of the owners needed assistance with bringing on new clients, and so I kind of stepped into his executive assistant role that way. And then the other owner needed help with our brand exposure, so I stepped into that role as well. At that time, all of our SEO efforts was in-house, so making all of the little changes here and there across all of our platforms, that was me. As the company grew, the owners started setting their sights on retirement plans, so my role as the marketing director developed, and it just kind of was a result of hard work, learning, and adapting along the way.
Okay. Well, I'll say it because you're too humble to say it. When you started, you guys were at 500 doors, and now, if I'm not mistaken, you've surpassed 1,250.
Yes.
And as someone that was a big part of leading those initiatives, I'd say that's quite impressive. And I know you were probably too humble to say it, so I just want to make sure everyone out there understands the fact that you do have a deep grasp of what's required to grow a property management company. What does your role as marketing director at Service Star look like on a typical day? Like, what are the things that you're in charge of?
So I wear a lot of hats. Each day does look a little bit different. I oversee the business development team, so bringing on new landlord clients, getting them set up for success, not only in our softwares, but with our team. I also work with an affiliate realtor brokerage. Their agents and the clients that they represent, they don't do property management, so all of their clients, they refer on over to us to kind of keep in-house and take care of them until it's time for sales. And then the other portion of my team I oversee handles a lot of with our brand exposure. So that's like our online presence through social media postings, cross-promoting our published blogs, our website, working with upkeep, physical marketing materials, so on. In addition to that, a lot of like administrative roles that I play handles with like task management software and operational systems, organizing all of what that structure looks like.
Okay. So let's start from the top there. So you mentioned dealing with your business development managers and coordinating everything on that end. Are you involved in designing the sales process, or is it more so in facilitating them with marketing materials that they need to do their job properly?
So yeah, pretty much the sales process as well. So all the way from lead capture to lead nurturing to follow through with contract to kind of still holding their hand a little bit as they step into the management side of the company as well. So yes, through the sales side of that relationship building, but also through the marketing material. I think we can cover that aspect of it in a couple of questions.
Yeah. So in terms of lead nurturing, like what is it that you guys have in place that you do to nurture leads?
Well, our CRM has a lot of different touch points, whether that's by phone call, text message, email follow-up. So as well as the structured follow-up, of course, it really depends on what each lead needs. Some of them are ready to go the minute they call. Some of them are, doing their research 6 months out. So really relying on the nurturing campaigns in our CRM systems and the structure that's already set up there.
Hey, quick break from the interview, just for a second. If you're listening to this podcast, there's a good chance you're looking to grow your property management business. Our team at Upkeep Media is offering a free property management lead generation session to all podcast listeners. Just visit our website at upkeepmedia.com/growth, fill out the form on that page, Enter the coupon code PODCAST and you'll sign up for a free property management lead gen session. A team member will reach out to you at the time that you book. During that call, we'll show you what your top local competitors are doing to bring on new properties to manage. We'll take a look at where you're currently positioned online and then give you actionable strategies that you can use to grow your property management business. Just visit upkeepmedia.com/growth, fill out the form on that page, and we'll speak with you soon. All right, let's get back to the interview. Okay. And do you, so let's say a lead comes in, they speak with you guys, and then do you choose kind of what bucket to put them in, whether it's somebody that's ready to go right away or somebody
Yeah.
that, let's say, is a little bit further down the road, and then they're sent a specific drip sequence depending on where they fall? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Got it. And then another thing I wanted to touch on, you mentioned that you guys work closely with a real estate brokerage that does not offer property management services. How did that come to be?
That's a great question. When we first started with them, it was about 5 years ago or so. We actually are our director of sales. So we do handle sales for those clients who don't already have that realtor relationship. And he was actually with that brokerage prior to working directly under our brokerage. So he already had that relationship established a little bit. So he kind of put us in touch with the powers that be.
Okay, got it. Is that something that you guys are actively marketing towards as well, like other real estate brokerages?
So yes, it's a little bit more difficult because it takes a lot of legwork to do that. But yes, we do try to still market to other brokerages. The key there is to hopefully get in touch with the head honcho, or like I mentioned before, the powers that be, the broker within that brokerage. Because while you can reach out and develop individual relationships with individual agents, sometimes when you're working more so with the lead role within that brokerage, you reach a better base of people
Mhm.
to build your network with. And so when the designated broker says, hey, I recommend so and so, their agents tend to follow suit. So it's a little bit better use of your time.
For sure, you want to get put in contact with the right
Your
person
bang
that
for
can
yeah.
make things happen. How are you guys, I guess, attempting, and what are you doing to reach the head person?
A lot of online research to find out who's local to us in the areas that we service. Again, just email, phone calls, trying to stay in front of them.
Okay, got it. So when it comes to marketing for property management companies, what do you see as the most important elements of building trust with property owners that make them actually want to work with you guys?
I think it would all boil down to transparency and education. Delivering the right information at the right time is essential because not only are you marketing for your company, but you're selling yourself too. They want to know that they're wanting to hire and work with the experts in our industry. So sharing legal information about what the process looks like if they're faced with an eviction with their tenant, or the pros and cons of marketing their home at specific price points to get it rented quickly, or how a lengthier vacancy might affect their bottom line.
Makes
There's a
sense.
lot of different things that owners may not even think of. And so when you're kind of guiding them through the process for the very first time, like you would be for an unintentional landlord, maybe they don't expect to, what kinds of tax savings they can have. So we have specific tips for them to go and reach out and talk to their tax accountant for, or, should I own my home in an entity versus personally owned? So just different things that it's such a vast industry. They don't know what they don't know. And so being that expert in their corner really gives them that sense of relief of whatever happens, they're going to be able to handle it for me.
Makes sense. And are you guys educating them about this stuff during the sales process? Are you educating them about this stuff before they ever even reach out to you through marketing materials, through blog posts, through videos? Like how does this generally come to be?
All of the above. So yes, we have a lot of blog content on our website. It handles a lot of different things. There's a section specifically for legal aspects. There's a specific section for, what kinds of cash flow benefits is my investment handling for me. So there's a lot of that on our website that can be found to help educate them prior to them even finding us. Sometimes it comes up in conversation naturally because it's been a worry on their mind of my mortgage is $3,000, but I can only get 2,800 in rent. Does this make it a bad opportunity? That kind of thing. So it really is, again, just knowing when and where and how to deliver it, where it's going to make the biggest impact.
Makes sense. So you're outwardly doing it so that if someone does find your company online, they're getting educated on this before they ever reach out. But
Yeah.
naturally, not everyone's going to go through your entire website and actually read every single
A
blog
lot.
post there.
Yes.
So I imagine there's a fair amount of, let's say, onus on the salesperson, the business development manager, when they do reach out to identify what this particular lead's, let's say, shortcomings are in terms of knowledge, and then educating them on that throughout the sales process. Is that kind of a good summary of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
At this point, what marketing channels or initiatives have worked best for raising awareness for Service Star Realty in terms of generating interest from investors and rental property owners?
Yeah. We have three main areas that drive the most of our growth. So referrals from our already loyal clients, either by bringing on additional properties under their own portfolio or by referring us out to friends or colleagues. The realtor partnerships, as I had already mentioned, as well as main focus is on SEO and all that that entails. So we understand that by solidifying our online footprint, our company gains more exposure, more popular in online inquiries, things like that. I think altogether it works cohesively to give us the best growth.
Yeah. And naturally, if somebody does find out about you from a referral, they're still going to go online and
Yeah,
look you guys up, right? So it does
exactly.
all play a role. For the referral side, is there a specific program you have going to try and entice owners to refer your company? What does that
So
look like?
on both ends, so if the clients that we already have in place bring on additional properties, they do get an incentive as a thank you for bringing us additional business. That does equate either to a little bit lesser off some upfront facing fees, or it can also equate to like a certain number of months free management kind of thing. Similar situation for if they refer a friend to us as thank you again for bringing new business, they get certain credits towards monthly fees.
Okay. And are you outwardly marketing this to your existing owners?
Yes, yes. So we have monthly newsletters or quarterly newsletters that go out. It is through that as well. And it's also on our website. So even if they're not paying attention to it and they do land there.
Yeah, but I think that is an important point that I just want other companies to be aware of. It's that newsletter that you're sending out to owners to constantly remind them. Because if you have a referral program but no one knows about it, no
Yeah.
one's going to think of sending you referrals. But if they're constantly seeing your referral program, it helps them remember. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily that they don't want to refer you people, it's that they don't think of it. So if you have
And
that
we
newsletter, that's
also, yeah, we also utilize the newsletter to kind of circle back to how and when do we deliver that content at the appropriate timing. So, for example, in the spring when it's tax season, I take my tax blogs and I recirculate those so that it's again in front of them in a timely manner, even though they've already maybe already outgrown the new client type nurturing
makes
touch-ins.
sense. So let's go back to onboarding for a little bit.
Yes.
What role does marketing play in helping onboard new investors or owners once they do reach out?
A lot of different avenues, though the one thing we work very hard on as a company is getting great online reviews. So when clients are working and doing their research phase of finding companies to work with, let's face it, property management is an industry that it gets a lot of bad rap. It's difficult to please everybody all the time. And so when you do have an overwhelming balance of five-star reviews, it lends a lot of weight to can you walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And so we have a very robust five-star review rating on Google. And along with our other educational materials like our blogs, our newsletters, we do market updates. It just kind of all circles back to be cohesive of when does your client need what kind of touch in.
Yeah. So let's touch on reviews a little bit because those are extremely important for both people that are thinking of reaching out and people that are in the sales process because, as you said, naturally people are going to want to
Yeah.
look that up. What are you guys doing to stay ahead of that? Are there any strategies that you're doing that you guys have? Like, how do you get everybody to buy in and actually get you like solicit reviews? What does that look like for you?
Yes. So we drill it into our team. So internally we have a bonus structure. If you reach a certain number of five-star reviews, the manager or someone they have a certain incentive that they reach. We don't necessarily incentivize the reviewer because of course we want an honest review being left. But it does incentivize our team to hey, I think you might be pleased with how I just, saved a couple $100 off of your roof repair kind of thing. Mr. Owner, would you like to give me a five-star review? So those kinds of things are usually just always up front and center in our minds.
Makes sense. If you could give, let's say, one piece of advice to other marketing professionals in the property management industry or owners looking to market their own company, what's one thing that you think they often overlook that could actually make a big difference?
I'm pounding on it a lot, but online presence. It's not just having a website or reviews. It's again delivering the right content, the right keywords across all of your platforms so that when those algorithms or those searches are happening, you have that foundation of relevant data to appear in those search results. Because otherwise, you're just not going to be found.
At this point, is that your the largest lead source for you guys in
I
terms of
would say it's
quantity of
about
leads?
50%.
50%. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely something super important.
Yeah.
Would you say that for someone that's newer, that's just starting out, what would you think the first thing they should focus on? Like, what was it that you guys focused on when you first started focusing on your online presence?
When I first started, some of the first things that I was doing is I was taking a look at our website and working with our web developers to make small tweaks more frequently. So whether it's, rotating through a property highlighting feature video, or if it's, again, just adding a new blog or taking a video of me reading the blog. So video blogs, adding that to our website. Just little things here and there to let those online searches understand that it's not just create it once and it's done forever. It's I'm constantly working on it.
Yep, no, that makes sense. I think one thing I'll add to that, so I'll almost answer my own question because it came to me as you were talking, is something you mentioned earlier, nurturing people
Mhm.
that didn't necessarily sign up for services right away, or potentially nurturing people that haven't even reached out yet to hire a
Yeah.
property management company. So getting people on an email list, segmenting them based off of where they're at, and having different what we call drip sequences, which is basically
Yeah.
just automated emails that go out to them so that you're constantly staying top of mind with them so that even if the owner doesn't sign up
Yeah.
for the next 6 months, they don't forget about you. And then whatever, a year goes by, their current management company, they had another issue, they're ready to make the switch, and they're like, Service Star, I've been seeing these guys everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another point that I'll just put there because we see that often where people will have leads and they don't follow up with them consistently. It's like if they didn't close the first time you spoke with them, they're never going
Important.
to working with you.
Yeah. So, yeah, following up on that, it's not just, hey, you're not ready for 6 months to a year. Let me follow up with you then. It's, hey, I understand, 3 months ago we talked. I know you're still a ways out, but I just wanted to make sure I'm here if questions come up. Or if you've already had that conversation and they decide that they want to go with a different company. Okay, follow up in a year or so after that. Are you still happy with that company? Are you looking to make a change? Or if they've decided to sell their property, check in 3 months. Hey, how's that sale going? So it is really important to keep those nurturing trips in mind, and you can tailor it really well, specifically on what kinds of feedback you're getting as far as how they move through your system.
Yep. With those nurturing sequences, are you so you mentioned specific scenarios like they were selling their property and you check back
Yeah.
in 3 months later to see how the sale's going. But in that time, let's say from now till the 3 months, are you regularly sending them emails or at this point do you just basically reach out to them in 3 months?
So a little bit of both. I think a lot of it really depends on, again, which bucket they get put into.
Hmm.
If they went to a competing company, I would probably bug them a little less because they're probably already locked in for a year or so. They're not wanting to be bothered and changed at that point in time. But if they're still just on the fence or if they just kind of aren't ready yet, yes, there is like a monthly, again, kind of recirculation of some of our blogs just
Yeah.
to help solidify that we are experts in what we do. And of course, it does have our little sales pitch in it saying, we're here when you need us. But yeah, it's just more little informational tidbits to keep us at the forefront of their mind.
Yep, that's the idea. I mean, I'd even suggest trying to send them out weekly if you could. Obviously, if what you're doing is working really well, go for it. But we have seen success where companies will follow up just
Yeah,
an educational style email that goes out to them with a blog post or with a video where it's not trying to pitch them, not trying to get them to
yeah,
reach back out to you, but just something that's educational in nature, staying in front of them to keep your company at the top of their
yeah,
mind. I guess in terms of marketing in this industry, as we've seen, AI is coming. or it's here. Automation's coming into play. How do you think the role of marketing in this industry will evolve over the next few years, especially with new technology like AI and automation coming into play?
Yeah, I think there's two sides to it. I think that there's many aspects of marketing that will get easier. We've already talked about our drip campaigns and things like that. Certain portions of it are already automated. I have a feeling that even more automation in that regard is going to be coming and more easier to access. So that's going to be a major benefit because that allows to free up some of our mental load to focus on different areas that can't be automated, more of that client relationship building. Of course, when new technology does come out, it can also bring some uncertainty. One thing that has been a concern of mine, and because we contract with Upkeep, I've spoken with you guys about it before, the transition between Google searches moving to AI searches and things
Yeah.
like that, making sure that, had we not had the SEO foundation that we've built over the last several years as strongly as we have, I feel like I would have been a little bit more uncertain of, okay, am I going to be showing up? Am I going to be in those search results? Because it's not the same algorithm. It's not the same Google search, that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of uncertainty there. But again, if you lay that proper foundation, I think that it's not going to be too overwhelming. I'm
Yep.
always excited to see where it goes, though.
For sure. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, so we don't actually
Yeah.
know. But I do agree with you. So at this moment in time, if we look at AI search in the sense of what we call AEO, so it stands for Answer Engine Optimization, which is
Okay.
kind of what they're referring to it as. The principles of SEO still apply. So we can put it as 85% of what's required to show up in, let's use ChatGPT because that's the largest one at the moment, but there's obviously others
Yeah.
like Perplexity, Claude, and so forth. But 85% of what's required to show up high in Google is also what's required to show up in ChatGPT. There's an extra 15% that's missing. And I can touch on a few of those things. So, one of them is reviews on other areas of the internet, not just your Google business profile. So, something like Yelp is an example where stuff like that will start to become more relevant. Also, getting your company listed on different directories online that are niche specific. So, all property management, as an example, having a profile on their website is something that is important. Then the other thing that you want to do is you basically reverse engineer what is currently showing up. So when ChatGPT gives you an answer, you can check what its sources for that answer were.
Okay.
You export what those sources are, and then you have to try and go and get your company featured on as many of those sources as possible. So it's basically looking at what currently they're pulling from
Yeah.
and then making sure that your company is listed in as many of those places as possible. So I guess for property managers listening that don't have a full-time marketing person, what do you think are like one or two things they could start doing today that would make the biggest impact for their company? Would it be reviews? I know you touched on that earlier. So
Yeah. Google reviews, of course, yes, those carry a lot of weight. Do I really only have to pick one or two?
you can by all means go.
No, I know. I would probably say some things that don't necessarily take up a full-time position, but still, again, show the search engines that you're still actively making those changes. So whether that's small tweaks on your website, I wouldn't necessarily say utilize AI to generate your blog content, but they can definitely be a helpful source for those who are looking for blog topic ideas or different advice maybe on specific keyword tweaking so that, of course, if you're not able to work with a specific SEO company, of course they're going to probably have, again, the better advice, like you mentioned, that extra 15% that I wasn't aware of.
I,
But yeah, it
I actually want
definitely making those ongoing changes, just small little things. Your Google My Business page, make sure the services are fully filled out, excuse me, and just making sure that you're not leaving a stone unturned somewhere by having it blank.
I just want to add one thing that you said that is super important. So, using AI to help you with creating content is very valuable.
Mm.
Using AI to write out the whole article and then just taking that verbatim, posting on your website, highly recommend against that. And the
Yeah.
reason why is that they recently released a study where they looked at 100,000 different search results. They analyzed the sites that currently rank on the first page of Google, and they found that 90% of the sites that rank on the first page of Google, the content is human generated. Whereas
Yeah.
right now, at this moment in time, 90% of the content online is AI generated, which means only 10% of the content is human generated, yet 90% of the sites that rank highest in search are human generated content.
Yeah.
There's not a more glaring and obvious answer to should I be using AI to produce all of my content? Like there you have it.
Yeah.
So use AI to come up with outlines to help you refine what you want to talk about, to brainstorm, but don't just go and be like, write me a blog post of 2,000 words about security deposit laws in Arizona. Like that type of content is actually going to end up hurting your company in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could go back in time to when you started your journey through property management, obviously at this point you've got a fair amount of experience.
Yeah.
What would you say is the one thing that you would change that would help bring success from a marketing perspective at a faster pace?
Yeah. I know that everybody is always going to be the first person to say bigger, better, faster. But honestly, I think our growth path was the right one for us. So if I could go back and expedite one thing or over another, I don't know that I would. Because honestly, while faster growth can be appealing, I don't think it would have been healthy or sustainable for us. Every company's resources and market is different, especially real estate market, not just like, who are we trying to contact, but just everything that comes together that you're working against, not only internally within your company, you have to make sure you're structured, scalable, so that you can actually grow with the company and hopefully skirt those growing pains. I like how we grew. We set our goal, we met it.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's perfect for your company or whoever's listening is really an internal question.
That's fair. I will say one thing because we've been working with you guys for a long
Yeah,
time. You do have the right long-term mindset. And I've noticed that with you where it's not a case where it's like, okay, we start something this month and next month we completely change the idea. And
yeah,
I think that's something that a lot of companies don't get right, where it's like, okay, we focused on this for 6 months, let's move on to something else.
yeah,
Property management's a really competitive landscape. And marketing your company, let's face it, you're going up against, especially in a market like Phoenix, like you're going up against hundreds of other companies that are providing the exact same service. A lot of companies will be like, well, we're the best. But the truth is, to somebody that doesn't know your company,
yeah,
you're not the best. You're just another listing that they're seeing online when they're going and trying to find a property management company. So having the long-term mindset to take on an initiative and then stick with it over the long
yeah,
haul, I think for you guys is what I'd say from an outsider perspective, one of
yeah.
your superpowers. So
I'm right there with you. I think that I sometimes joke, not necessarily a joke, but I sometimes tease some of our new clients who, they start out with maybe only intending on renting it out for a year, but after talking about the different advantages of holding it as a long-term investment, I bring up the mindset of it's like a train trying to leave the station. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time to build up that steam. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to have that maybe not immediate result because it's about building the little steady building blocks as you go. And if you abandon something part way before you get to see how fully it can come to fruition for you, you may have that regret of I jumped ship too soon.
yep, that makes sense. Thank you so much for your time, Kayla. I really appreciate it. For anyone that would like to reach out to you or connect, like where's the best place for them to find you?
Absolutely. Our website is leaseaz.com. LEASE, AZ is in Arizona.com.
Awesome. Thank you.